There are two activities in life that involve all five senses. Eating is one of them. And when I say this to people, it always surprises me how long it takes for them to figure out what the other one is. No one's going to guess. Boating? No, it's not. Boating is the wrong answer. Thank you. By whichever name you choose, yes. So bearing those two topics in mind, last year I set out looking for a new place to live. And the primary reason I wanted a new place to live was I wanted to throw dinner parties. And the primary reason I wanted to throw dinner parties was I wanted to impress potential girlfriends. I'd been unattached for a while and living in a two-room studio for the past 13 years with a push-button electric stove that Khrushchev had once banged his shoe on, and a kitchen that doubled as a storage closet. So culinary endeavors, even of the most modest, were out of the question. And on that critical and probably apocryphal third date, you cannot invite a woman home for a box of Goya rice. Not if you want to date up. And I wanted to date up, but I also wanted to eat better in general. But as single people well know, the food world is simply not configured for parties of one. Even canned soup doesn't come in single servings, greens go brown, milk goes sour, and bread goes stale long before you can finish it. And hardly anything can throw loneliness into sharper relief than investing hours in an expensive, spectacular dish only to gobble it down solo. If you'll forgive me for saying so, cooking alone is like having sex alone. It is possible, and it serves a certain function, but in the end, most of the pleasure goes missing. So the quest for a good meal of both sorts led me to Watertown. Quiet neighborhood, right? Grape trellis in the yard, very nice. Dining room. Kitchen cabinets. Gas stove. I'll take it. But the recipe proved more difficult to perfect than just that one major ingredient. A discussion of domestics led to a first date even before the boxes had been unpacked. We got takeout sushi. We talked flatware. We rearranged the furniture. We snuggled and smooched on the couch. And the next day when I called her, she gave me the cold shoulder. "Did you cook for her?" my friend Jay asked. "Oh, yeah, I cooked for you, yeah, oh, absolutely." And I knew he had me. And I knew I had to get serious. Then the key to the whole thing fell into my hand. There it was, at the health club, on the magazine rack, lying in wait for me. Gourmet magazine. It was the grilling issue. The perfect gateway for a Y chromosome. I secreted the issue into my gym bag, and in bed later that night, I had my first experience with gastro-pornography. All those glossy pictures. All the wanton ingredients. And the sheer, hyperbolic licentiousness of the overheated prose. You think I'm kidding, right? It's the actual issue, and this is an actual quote. Yeah, I do read the articles, I don't just look at the pictures. I know they all say that, but it's an actual quote from an article about apricots. The standard for excellence for apricot aficionados, however, is the Blenheim, which has rosy, freckled skin, a musky aroma, and luscious, juicy flesh. Seriously, is that a more accurate description of an apricot or Playmate of the Month? By indulging in gastro-porn, I naturally became gastro-curious. I had to try some of the things I'd been reading and hearing about. I was changing. For the first time in my life, I cared about bok choy. I fantasized about food processors. I find myself spending entire afternoons in stores with names like Kitchen Etc., Linens Things. And my favorite, Bed, Bath, and Beyond. Soon enough, my new home was being filled with wonderful aromas and more friends than I knew I had, all seeming to have a splendid time with each other while I had a freak out in a different room. Hosting and cooking is not all that difficult, but trying to do both while having a sentient conversation is akin to juggling on skis. A typical dinner party went as follows. The ringing of the doorbell heralds an instantaneous catatonic fever dream of coat hangers, serving spoons, cheese boards, corkscrews, placemats, over-reduced sauces, lost wine glasses, and somehow more dirty dishes than you actually own. Followed by a shocked reawakening and the statement, "Oh no, you can't be leaving, you just got here 6 hours ago." But I got better at it, so much better that soon the guest list had been reduced to one. A special one, the rarest of all women, an omnivore. She revealed just how special she was one night when we were making skate with orange citrus glaze. I was feeling a little guilty about having my impulse purchase of an $80 Henkel's chef knife when she said to me, "You know, when you mince garlic with that thing, it really turns me on." And after that, the Cuisinart pretty much stayed in the cabinet. And what is it about food that is so sexy? I mean, when you think about the language, you know, the verbs in the language of cooking, all the verbs in the language of cooking that have in common with the language of romance, you know, rub, pat, knead, whip. Okay, maybe not whip. What about stir? As the dictionary defines it, not just to mix together the ingredients before cooking, but also to be roused or affected by strong feelings. Two of the synonyms are fire up and inflame. And a better definition still, to cease sleeping. Cooking is a way of waking up, a way of paying attention to the world as you haven't before. It's a way of participating. And whether it's good cuisine or good loving, if you're not in a participatory mood, you might as well just forget the whole thing. So, to the gentlemen and the ladies in the audience who seek a more participatory lifestyle, I'll leave you with the following as food for thought. No matter which of the two things that involve all 5 senses you're doing, remember, it's not the meat, it's the cooking.